The desperate search for the Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777-200 has expanded, with latest reports indicating that the aircraft flew for over an hour after losing contact with the radar. Curiously, the aircraft altered its course and flew towards the very crowded Malacca Straits before disappearing from the face of this earth, or so it seems. On day 4, there's very little evidence yet, and yet many theories about what happened to the ill-fated MH370.
It is one of the most baffling mysteries in recent aviation history. A massive search operation for the Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777-200ER now in its 4th day. So far, no trace of the aircraft. Military sources claim they have tracked a missing jetliner by radar over the Strait of Malacca, far from where it last made contact with civilian air traffic control off the country's east coast, but no confirmation yet. Meanwhile, Malaysia identified the stolen passport holders travelling to Frankfurt and Copenhagen, but have managed to identify only one of them. Adding that 19-year-old Puria Noor Mohammed, who is believed to be trying to illegally migrate to Germany, is highly unlikely to be part of a terror outfit.
You know, we're in the 21st century where even this pen, this phone, myself, all of us can be tracked through latest satellite imaging, and you have a full-bodied plane which virtually disappears from the face of the earth, and 4 days later there is no concrete evidence of where this plane could possibly be. Is it a hijack? Are those people alive? There are reports coming in that some of those calls have actually been ringing, the phones are still buzzing. Where are these people? Why is no one being able to get in touch with them? And if indeed the plane has crashed, then why is there no debris? There are several questions I want to introduce. We've got experts from every field. And just to try and get an aviation sense, we've got former Air Marshal A.K. Singh, former Commander-in-Chief of the Western Air Command; Kanu Gohain, one of the most respected voices in civil aviation, former DGCA, joining us on this broadcast. Also with us, A.K. Verma, former RAW Chief, and we've got G.J. Singh, Commodore from the Indian Navy. I want to go across first to Kanu Gohain, because you understand aviation and avionics best. 4 days have lapsed. There are fits and spurts of reports coming out, but as I went into this broadcast, I saw all the international wires. Nobody had a definite sighting. It's almost as if 4 days later, this plane has flown off the face of the earth. Where could it have gone, sir?
Rahul, it's like this. Whenever there is such a missing aircraft reported, the first source is from the radar or from the ATC transcripts, which gives the last point at which the aircraft was. Now, if you see, the aircraft was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing on a north-northeasterly direction, and after takeoff it is for some time over the water. Then it goes into the land of Vietnam and Laos before again entering a water mass, and then from Hong Kong straight overland to Beijing. As I understand, it is about a 6 hours flight, and somewhere in between, the midpoint, as per the media reports, the aircraft lost contact. Now, in the aircraft, there are two items which triggers off whenever there is such a crash. One is the what we call ELT, the emergency location transmitter, which on impact sends out a signal. In case it goes into the water, then there are the flight recorders. They have what we call ULBs, the underwater locator beacons. They get activated with salt water, and then they transmit signal. It is surprising that neither the ELT signal nor the flight recorders ULBs are emitting signal to be captured by the search planes or the search
No, but what do you
Navy.
think with all your experience happened? You are explaining to me the systems that exist, but for people watching this broadcast, what's most baffling is that none of those systems have fired. There is no trace yet of where this plane could have gone. How can all these systems collectively malfunction, sir?
No, I'm not going to that point, Rahul, but remember one thing, has the search, we do not know how the search patterns are. being carried out, but has this search gone into the dense jungles of Vietnam and Laos? You see, that's another area.
Sure,
As
but I want to bring
see
in
from the
also
media reports,
Air Force Officer AK Singh. Now, Air Marshal, I'd like to understand from you, even if it's gone into a jungle, let's assume for a moment that is true, with the sort of satellite imaging that we have nowadays, would not some of those satellites have picked out some trace of debris, even if this were in the jungles of Laos, Vietnam, or where have you? So what are you making of this mystery?
Absolutely correct, Rahul. You have hit the nail on the head. I would like to add here to what Gohen has been speaking about. If you look at it, there are transponders in the aircraft which are secondary. They'll get triggered in case the radars are available. But more importantly, from Malaysia, which has air defense radars, these are active radars and they do not depend on any transponders, etc. So they should have picked up this aircraft because it is flying at 35,000 feet. So should have Vietnam radars. It is all the more mysterious because Boeing 777 is equipped with a system known as ACARS, wherein the engineers at the base monitor its flight pattern and more importantly all its parameters. Had it entered weather then or crashed because of weather, it would have registered on their meters. It has not. Then Vietnam air defense system is a very, very strong system. I can understand if an ATC radar doesn't pick it up, but an air defense radar will 100% pick it up. So the mystery becomes all the more deep. No. If the pilots have committed suicide, which has happened in 3 other cases earlier, then one would like to still find out where the debris lies. And as you've said, the satellites, there are plethora of satellites, not only American
Chinese
satellites, Russian
there are
satellites,
American satellites, there are Russian satellites, there are Indian satellites. We've got 9 navies in the sea trying to find any trace of the debris. The oil slick which was found belonged to some other vessel.
Yes.
So now, what do you think is happening? How are you looking at it from a naval perspective, Commander?
You see, first of all, I would say that when the aircraft is 30 to 35,000 feet high flying, it is always in touch with the ATC radio.
No,
control is always there.
The Air Marshal are dealing with that. You deal with the naval aspects.
No, naval aspect is that if the aircraft explodes mid-air, its debris should fall somewhere on the surface of the sea.
No, but clearly that's not happened, because
That's
if it
not
had,
happened.
we would have seen the debris and one of the vessels would have spotted it.
And this remains an unprecedented mystery to date. We do not know what has happened. Even if there was an emergency, for example, hydraulic failure, or it is fire on board, or some malfunction of some electrical system and all that, the crew is trained to cope up with this kind of emergency, and they should report to the ATC.
No,
we don't know.
I want to understand.
We don't know.
From an intelligence agency perspective, Mr. Verma, is there a possibility that the plane could have been hijacked and taken somewhere, the radars turned off, taken into an area which doesn't have good radar coverage? I still don't understand how it will be away from satellite imaging, but is there a possibility that these 239 odd people on board could have been hijacked by terrorists?
I'm quite certain that that possibility cannot be ruled out. And something like what happened on 9/11, planes being hijacked and not being found out by ATCs till...
But that happened instantaneously. That happened within minutes. You've now had 4 days for the latest technology of all the armies and navies of the world not being able to spot these.
Your question is whether it could be a hijack.
Yes.
And I'm saying it could very well be.
Where would they go?
That's what I'm trying to answer. The hijackers diverted the plane, or the plane got diverted because there was a scuffle in the cockpit and the plane was no longer under the control of the pilots. So it became unpiloted plane, and therefore it turned left 90 degrees into an area where it was not destined to move over the peninsular land. It crosses that, and apparently it fell into the sea.
No, if it had fallen into the sea, it brings me back to the first question, where is the debris? So what I want is 4 top experts from different fields, starting with the Air Marshal, to explain what do you think happened, sir? On the basis of all the information currently in the public domain, Air Marshal Singh, what do you think could have possibly happened to this ill-fated airline MH370?
Yeah, Rahul, I would like to just explain here is that the possibility of the pilots not having time enough to make either a distress call or indicate to the ground controls that they are being hijacked is very, very not possible, because
Why do you
it
say
is
that,
an
sir?
instantaneous because it is instantaneously you can press a button and you will make the whole world aware that what is happening.
So unless
You
somebody
cannot
comes
have a
and points
radio
a gun at your
communication.
head and doesn't allow you to press the emergency button, that could be one possibility. Do you also believe what Mr. Verma is saying, that there is a possibility, real threat that this plane could have been hijacked, sir?
See, the moment a door is being opened, the door cannot, even if it is an air hostess opening the door, the procedure is that the pilot always has his hands close to the throttles where the buttons are located. You just have to press it with one finger. Now when you do that, you are emitting a signal. Whosoever has got a gun on your head will not know what.
So what do you think happened? What is your best guess?
No, my best guess is that there has been a sudden explosion probably in the cockpit area, and then the aircraft has not disintegrated as one would expect it to from 35,000 feet. Because what is surprising me is that Malaysian Airlines does not have the ACARs online. If that is one particular equipment on this aircraft, which was, if used, would have told you that there have been certain changes.
So what do you
in the
think
aircraft
happened? I want to
parameters.
understand from you, what do you think happened? You've ruled out a couple of possibilities, but what's the possibility you're building up towards?
No, I'm saying the possibility I'm building towards is that the pilots were incapacitated and there have been a multiple failures in terms of communication failure. The ACAR still would be functioning. Why, if the ACARs were not available, then it's a different ball game, because you have not switched them on or you are not operating. All Boeing 777s are equipped with it at the time of manufacture. If it is not functioning or it has not been in the airline's interest to keep it going, then it may so happen that there have been a case like Mr. Verma was talking of, where the pilots have been incapacitated, maybe due to propulsion of gas.
Those planes, Mr. Verma, went missing for a few minutes before they banged into the trade towers, twin towers, right? Now there are tickets for two people who used stolen Italian and Austrian passports that were bought on Thursday in Thailand, according to the ticketing records. Now, how much importance would you give, if you were investigating this case, to the mystery of the two passports, and could these people possibly be involved in an attempted hijacking, if there were to be one?
A great deal of credibility to this theory, because if two people are traveling on forged passports, there is a whole organization behind them. You can't get forged passports just like that. You need finances also to travel. And the very fact that the passports are forged indicates that some mischief is intended.
No, but this could just be like there is in India an operation to try and whisk people away to Europe ultimately on a forged passport. It happens in India, it's called kabutarbazi, I think. It happens in India all the time.
No, they don't have forged passports necessarily. They have their own passports, but ways are found for their infiltration.
What's your best guess in terms of what could have happened?
In terms of the best guess, I would say that it couldn't be an explosion, as the Air Marshal was trying to suggest, because had there been an explosion, the debris would have been scattered which would have been noticed. So the thing happened without there being any control of anyone over the plane and the direction it was flying. And that was only, if this scenario is the right scenario, that means the pilots had been completely debilitated, they had been totally overpowered, and there was a scuffle.
Where did the plane go?
There was a scuffle, and the plane just flew on its own for some time. And then it fell down.
No, but if wherever it fell, there'd be debris there. We haven't found that debris.
Those discoveries may be discovered a little later.
Okay, I want to understand from the Commodore.
See, these days the methods of terrorism also changing very fast.
What do you think happened?
Now, as these two gentlemen who boarded the ship with forged passports, aircraft with forged passports, they probably knew how to fly. Once they overpowered the crew, they took the control of it, but they couldn't cope up with the systems of this aircraft, because you need conversion. And ultimately, they probably managed to land on water. Once they land on water, now they don't know the operations, the aircraft will not remain afloat. The flooding took place as one piece. The aircraft went down and sat on
No,
the
but
bottom.
Kanu Goen, is it possible for a
This is the
pilot?
only
We've
reason.
seen it happen in the United States, but that was one of the very skilled pilots who was able to land despite despite the wheels getting hurt, despite the wheels being damaged. He was able to land in the lake,
river.
right? In the river,
Yeah.
Houston River, from what
New
I
York
know.
River.
Yes, but is that possible with two
Hudson River.
Hudson River, correct? Is that possible with two pilots with much lesser experience, sir? Kanu Goen?
It is not possible, Rahul. So in this investigation, one has to follow the elimination process.
Yes.
I do not say that all these possibilities are wrong. No. In an investigation process, these possibilities are examined and eliminated. But the crux of the whole issue is why the debris has not been located till now. And if it is on land, certainly there would not only debris, there would have been an explosion, there would have been a fire. Coming
So what's your
over the
best
sea,
guess, sir?
If the debris falls, my best guess, the aeroplane has crashed. Now it is more than 72 hours. It is sad that so many lives have been lost. And the search and rescue operation should concentrate now on determining the positioning of the wreckage. The same thing happened, Rahul, if you allow me. When our Kanishka went down, it just vanished out of the radar screen. But how we
That was
could
many years
pinpoint
ago
that point,
with
position.
much lesser technology
Yes,
at
but
our
it's a-
disposal. The situation on the ground has
Exactly,
changed
Rahul.
completely since. The sort of avionics you have, the sort of technology, the sort of satellite imagery has completely changed the dynamics between that explosion and now, Mr. Goen.
Technology has to be matched with logic. Now the point which I am trying to make, yes, that was the old case, we didn't have this satellite technology. Today we have the satellite technology, rightly said, even India's satellite is up also, but these are communication satellites. Now the Chinese have, I am told from the media report, that they have launched or set 10 satellites to search on this wreckage, whether it is on the sea or into the sea or onto the land mass. So let us hope that the search comes out
Okay.
with position of the wreckage, and then retrieval of the wreckage, we can analyze all this facts.
Okay, we're out of time on this broadcast. We've heard from all our experts. We don't have any final answers yet. You've heard the theories from all our experts. This is really one of the most baffling stories and incidents that we've seen.
Mystery
Where a
in the
plane goes
aviation.
missing for 4 days and we still don't know whether this is a terror attack, a crash, and in what circumstances that crash happened. Our thoughts and prayers with the families of those who were on board MH370, in the hope that maybe, just maybe they're alive. We don't know if they're dead, therefore there's a hope that they're still alive.
Quite right.
Let's build and let's have that hope, and let's keep that hope alive till the time something else is found out to be true.